American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Coach Q. What's going on, Q?
What up? What up? What's going on, my boy?
Just another day talking football. So let's get into it. The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, as well as visually. You can find us now here on YouTube. So be sure that wherever you're watching or listening, that you follow, like, subscribe our channels at American Football in Finland. And if you do any of the listening or the watching and you don't like, follow, or subscribe, we know you're we know who you are, but that's okay. We're going to call you a fan anyways. Let's get on with the show. All right, it's first down where we update people on our lives. Q, what's going on with you, man?
Man, not much, man. Another day. It's March Madness right now, so I've been watching a lot of college basketball. At the same time, waiting on this summer weather, baby. That's it, man. That's about all. I'm ready to get to what we finna talk about. I'm ready to get to your team.
Well, I want to talk about March Madness a little bit. First of all, I think it's insane what's going on with college basketball. I'm just going to talk about this a little bit. The fact that we're at a point now, and if you don't like basketball, you can just skip this part of the show. It's fine. But the fact that we're at a point where when you say college basketball, you have to say men's college basketball. Have you noticed that in certain places, like even on like websites and stuff? Like when people think college basketball now, you just think what's her name, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all the other famous basketball players. You don't even think about the men.
It's better. It's better. Like college basketball is women's basketball now. That's just what it is. Like it's more entertaining. The level of play went up 1,000 times. I can tell you, I've watched more girls' games this year than I have men's games this year. It's just that I don't know. It's either the men they getting sorrier or they going to the league too soon. But I know one thing. The other day, I'm watching a girls' tournament like it was Friday night basketball. Like I don't know what. Like it's intense right now, and it ain't even. We're not even at the end yet. Like, and I'm already like, oh man, I can't wait till the next game. Like, it's serious though. It's getting real, man.
I think it's that whole like WNBA NBA situation where you're good. If you're a guy and you're good at basketball, you know when you're like 16, 17. And you don't have to get into your years. If you look at like college basketball, if you're there as a sophomore or junior, you're not going to the league. Excuse me. And nobody really wants to watch you. While on the women's side, you got to stay there as long as you can. Like that's how you're gonna, really earn your living. I mean, especially with the NIL things, is more people are gonna see you as they support their college team than anyone supporting a WNBA team. Do you know who's the starters for is it the Seattle Majestics or something? I don't know those teams. But I know somebody playing for Ohio State, Iowa, LSU, South Carolina, like colleges, those institutions, they have that history. So you can get, notoriety, fans, and eventually even more money. There's monetary value added to it as well, that playing for that university is more beneficial. While on the men's side, we still going to watch the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, but we don't know who none of the people's names are. None of these players are expected to be like highly drafted. The best players for the NBA are now coming from Europe. They're not even coming from the States, whether you're talking about 1 year college or not. Most of the best players are coming from abroad. So the men's college is losing out to professional international basketball. While women's, on the other hand, they're probably playing better basketball internationally than they are in college, but you're not getting eyes on it like you are for the men's side. So I guess I don't know where I was going with my story. I'm just really intrigued by the fact of how it's kind of switched on the college side. Even though for me personally, I don't really care about none of it. I just want to watch the Final Four and the championship. Like I'm here for the stories. I'm here for the stories. LSU got Bayou Barbie. Caitlin Clark is out here, hand waving or whatever. She just got offered like $5 million to play in the Big Three.
Big Three, yeah.
Like I'm here for the stories. I don't really care about the basketball, even though no disrespect to her, but that girl can shoot.
Yeah.
From the logo at all times. She owns that Iowa Hawkeye logo. Like that's just where she shoot.
You got a
she
green
step
light
out there and just start shooting. Yeah. Her and Steph Curry out here making some of the worst basketball players across the nation, though. And I see other people taking them shots too, and it ain't going in as often. They just out there shooting to be shooting. But it works for them. So that's all I got for 1st and 10 is women's basketball.
Yes, sir.
Are you a fan of the American Football in Finland podcast? Show your support in style. Rock our logo proudly on hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, and snapbacks, all designed for fans like you. Join us in celebrating American football in Finland. Grab your gear and be a part of the AFF community. Hey, now we're going to talk 2024 Maple League season. We like to preview all the teams. We've done – how many teams have we done? Like 5 so far? 4 or 5?
Far, yeah.
Or is this the 5th one? 1, 2, 3, 4. This might be the 5th one. Yeah, because this would be the team that was right outside the playoffs, even though we're kind of glad they didn't make the playoffs. But we're going to talk about the Kuopio Steelers, who missed the playoffs last season after 5 consecutive Maple Bowl appearances. I did the math. Like, since they got into the Maple League, they pretty much always made the Maple Bowl, and they won 3 times. They lost twice. They lost once, then they won and they run, and then did they lose again? Hold up, maybe they only won 4 times. No, they went twice and lost twice, right?
They won when their first year was 2018, 19.
We could be wrong. No, because they moved up and they went to the Maple Bowl, but they lost. And then the next year, I think they won. I think that's when they started. So maybe they only went to 4. That could be it. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, we're gonna get into the Kuopio Steelers today. All right, to the interlude. All right, first thing about the Kuopio Steelers is biggest changes. What is something that you think is going to be a big change for them, Q?
The only thing they was missing last year was a quarterback.
That's it?
No, I ain't going to say that. You know what? I think Kuopio, their biggest challenge will be to it'll be to adjust to having a different quarterback. They've been changing quarterbacks for a few years though, but they've always had somewhat of success. And I also believe their quarterback, up until last year, their quarterback has never been the reason why they didn't win. Mm-hmm. Because the quarterbacks that they've had, they did their job for the most part. Even going back to Seth, you know what I'm saying, and he played his role. He was a little more, throwing them into wins. But now, they went kind of with the running back. They've had running backs over the past years that were pretty good. So their run game has been like a staple. I think they'll still be pretty run heavy even now. Even if they brought Austin Brock in and brought the quarterback that he played with in college in, I still think they'll be running the ball. They got Nesi. So I say that'll be the biggest change, having Nesi as the head coach now. For everybody that don't know Nesi, he's one of the GOATs in Finland too. He's been around the football a long time. Gave a lot of sweat and blood for Finland football over the years, man. So shout out to Nesi for one. But I can see him going into Kuopio and actually having success. because he knows the game. He's real easy to get along with the guys. He's a fun dude. He's a competitor, and he knows how to coach. You know what I mean? And I think with the right players and the swagger that those Kuopio guys got, it'll mesh well with Nesi. So I think the biggest obstacle is just getting, not letting the changes around you affect, the goal that that organization have. I think they expect to win. I think they expect to not just win, but be in the playoffs and be in contention, because that's what they built. And if they can get past the changes that have happened, they had a lot of stuff happen last year. Ambrose, I just think, was younger, wasn't ready to lead a team to a championship. There's nothing. There's no knock on him for that. It's just you can't win every year. You know what I mean? It's a goal, but certain positions you have to let players develop in order to see that type of success so early on. And I just think they didn't, choosing to go with him. I understand why, but it just probably wasn't the right decision for what their end goal was. They just didn't have enough to have him at quarterback too. But going into this year, I think they just have to get used to having a new head coach, staff, new quarterback at the head, still having a lot of their core guys. I think Kuopio will still be up there and still be good, man. So the biggest change would be just getting used to the new people that's coming into the organization.
I agree with you, and on my end, I would say the biggest change is everything. I think everything is the biggest change because they're not doing anything similar to what they've done before. They have new head coach, new position coaches, new offensive linemen, new defensive linemen. A lot of the young guys are now being elevated as older guys have now left the team. The organization has changed a little bit about who's in charge, who wasn't in charge before, and they're also bringing in new imports. So the dynasty era is over. We can put that to bed. Even if this Kuopio team like goes and wins the Maple Bowl this year, it doesn't fit that previous dynasty because that dynasty was built around, like what you said, running this RPO offense with a quarterback who can run but also can facilitate the ball, but mostly having really good running backs. We can name the last three running backs who are all very good. When you say Lee Anthony Reasonover, why can't I remember Crowell? No, Gerard Johnson was before them.
It was
Carswell, and then Gerard Johnson. All three of those guys easily could be the best running back in Europe anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like that's how good they were. And now you're going away from that this year. You're going to let Isaac Marshall become the starting running back who actually played receiver for you for the last couple of years. Slot receiver is now going to be their running back, and they're trusting their team, like the kids. I love this like aspect of Finland football that we're going into is that a lot of teams are doing this, and Kuopio as well. They're trusting Kuopio players who have been there but maybe weren't the premier players for them. They're trusting them into the season, and that's a change. That's not something they had been doing before. A lot of their best players were the ones who got them there. Went from Division 2 to Division 1 to the Maple League, and then those guys stayed as a core. Most of those guys are gone now. And I'm not trying to get in anybody's business. I don't know if there was drama or if they were just like, you know what, we're tired of doing this. But the core of who the Kuopio Steelers are, those people are gone. And then the few that remained are ushering in a new era. And that means change all across the board. And that's what they did. They basically wiped the slate clean. Anything we thought about the Steelers before the season does not matter because this is not that team. It's just not. Similar to what we said about the Royals not being the same team from 7 years ago, this team is not the same team from last year. And that's something that we're going to have to try to remember throughout the season is that a lot of things that we expect from the Steelers, a lot of things that we've seen from the Steelers in the past, they don't relate to this team or how they're going to operate. And we really don't know how they're going to operate. So it's going to be interesting as we try to dive into the dynamics of this team and what they're capable of going into this season. I think I said everything I need to say about that.
Yep.
calling all youth football players. Are you ready to shine this midsummer? Join us at the AFF Nordic Challenge, June 18th through 21st in Helsinki. Showcase your skills to USA college coaches, train with some of the top coaches in Europe, and compete in one-on-ones. Get insider tips at exclusive recruiting sessions and seize international opportunities. You can even win big with camp-sponsored prizes. Space is limited, so register now. With Nesi Carpalan, Kuopio Steelers head coach. Nesi, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
It's good to have you, man. First of all, we're just going to get right into the questions. First question, easiest question. Why now? What's your reasoning? Tell us. We want to know.
I think we had a great time and great run at Kotka, but then things changed a little bit after the maple season, and I think it's common knowledge that I wasn't on board going to Maple. The team still wanted to go there. We came back a year after that, and we had a pretty good run, but it was like a big struggle. The whole winter was not enough guys in practice and all that, and just felt like climbing an uphill all the time. But at the same time, I was still, after the season ended, I was sure I'm going to still be at Kotka, and I was really hoping that they can get a team together also without me. But then I got contacted by the Steelers, and I have to mention that I did get contact from other Maple teams also, but then I said no, thank you, not this year. But when I got a call from Kuopio, I started thinking that, I'm voluntarily not working at the moment, like on my own choice, and the situation in my private life is that I can move to Kuopio. So I started thinking that actually it's almost now or never. Well, maybe not never, but it was just the perfect timing for them to contact me, and that's how it started.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad it's working out for you, and I think it's gonna go well. But again, we will see, right?
Yes, definitely. It's not gonna be an easy task. There's plenty of good teams in the Maple this upcoming season, so of course we are hoping and trusting that everything will go well. But it's of course not gonna be easy.
Yeah. So if we the team, obviously it's kind of like a new team this year. Obviously, there's some players and some personnel back from last year, but going into this season, you're trying to get accomplished with that team. What is a philosophy type goal that you're trying to get accomplished with this new squad and this new?
Yeah, you're definitely right that there's been a lot of changes in the team, but the background of the team is quite similar, the organization and all that. Player-wise, there has been a lot of changes. I was actually watching last year's season opener against the Roosters, and when they put the roster, the starting lineup to Ruutu, I noticed okay, so there is one guy actually from the previous year's starters in defense, only Lars Steffen is the same guy, and pretty much everybody else who were starting last year are different guys. So yes, there has been a lot of changes, but I still feel that we have a really good team still. My philosophy, I'm trying to be same coach, same person I've been so far, and it's been helping to have a really good atmosphere that people like to come to practices and how would I put it in words? I like to take football really seriously, but at the same time, I'm hoping and expecting that people are enjoying themselves by doing all the hard work. So that's maybe one of my philosophies that I'm trying to bring to Steelers, that will enjoy all the work, enjoy all the dark off-season hours, and have a good team spirit. And I'm hoping that will carry us forward.
That's awesome. You mentioned while you were talking there, the one person coming back from defense, and there's a lot of changeover personnel wise. The next question I have for you is, who are some of the players that we should kind of be Kuopio this season that maybe we don't know or are going to be there or didn't know were going to be key contributors for you?
Well, I'm sure people who follow Maple, they know a couple of our good signings. One, who would I like mention? Where we have Akseli Syrjänen for the defense, and then we have a couple guys who were like bubbling under last year, like cornerbacks Kosti Hotti, Onni Kärki. They will have a bigger role this year and are definitely competing to be the starters on the team. So they were there also last year. But then in offense, we have Otto Mäkinen from Seinäjoki, national team center. Then we have the running backs. We have Isaac Marshall, Marno Raudfer, who played with me at Kotka last year. Then at least one name that I'm expecting to be known after this season is offensive tackle Veeti Kuusela. I'm sure nobody knows his name because he's mainly been playing in first division, but he's been like dominating first division. So I'm expecting him to do also good in Maple, even though, of course, I understand that the caliber he'll be facing is now different. But I'm confident that Veeti will also be a good player in Maple. Then, of course, we have signed at the moment 4 imports, and I'm very happy about every signing so far. So we have a quarterback, Josh Taylor, and his college receiver, Austin Brock. Very like talented guys and like perfect guys to be around in like out of the field also. So they are bringing good energy to the team. And then our defensive imports are arriving pretty soon. Carlton Marshall, if I pronounce his name right, he was a standout in Troy University. Like we published, he is the all-time leading tackler in the NCAA college level. So that's a like amazing accomplishment. And then, of course, my old friend Jamarcus Henderson, who played with Kotka 2022 and last year with the Vienna Vikings. So he's coming also, and I'm excited to see what he can like show us when his supporting cast around him is a little bit deeper than it was at Kotka. And I'm sure I'm forgetting many names, but like those came to my mind from my top of my head. So at least those guys, and
still a good list.
And then I mean the receiver group has also changed a lot, but there's a lot of guys who have been in a smaller role so far, like Nicolas Kuikka. He saw some playing time, but was not a starter, at least like constantly. And of course, Noah Choate is really good receiver. And from the Choate brothers, we also have now Noah's little brother, Jona Choate, who will be playing DB for us. So even though the team has changed a lot, but I feel that we have been able to like replace the guys we lost with quality players. So I'm happy about that.
It sounds like a lot, and like you're on top of it also. So that's what's really good. It's not a lot of random changes, a lot of strategic moves, and you're moving up players. Named a lot of young players. A lot of those guys you named, the Choate brothers, Koti Hosty and Oni, they've been there for a while. To see the linemen that you talked about with Veeti, because I'm always interested to see good linemen play in the Maple League.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely. But it sounds like you have everything under control, man. Last question I'm gonna ask before I let you get out of here is going into the season. Obviously excited in the Maple League. And this season of all seasons, there's a lot of change. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's up for this year. Out of any years that I've been here, this is the closest the competition has been. Like 1 through 7, it could go any way. A lot of teams are very close in skill level and everything. What are you most excited about the 2024 season in the Maple League?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you put it in the words. Like, I think there is many teams that can make the playoffs this year, and it's gonna be a very competitive league. And of course, we are starting the season against UNC, and it's really hard to like tell what kind of team we are gonna be facing, like who's gonna be there in their final roster and all that. And so I'm excited about the season, and at same time, of course, I'm really nervous about the season. It would be like maybe not as exciting, but much more like calming if I know like, okay, these teams are not going to be that good this year and will definitely do good. But there is a lot of good teams, and we'll have to fight for every win in this league. So maybe a boring answer, but I would just say that I'm excited to see good football and really like close games, and of course hoping really much that we'll end up winning those close games and having a good regular season, and after regular season try to make the playoffs, and when we are in the playoffs, hopefully win every game after that.
All right. That's not a boring answer at all. That's about as much as you could hope for, Nesi. I appreciate you answering my questions, coming on the podcast, and wish you and the Steelers good luck in this upcoming season.
Thank you very much. This was nice to talk about football, so thank you.
All right, let's talk about obstacles to overcome for the Steelers. What are a couple of things you think they're going to have to overcome to be successful?
Just that kind of similar to Royals. The expectations of old. Obviously, like you pointed out, that Kuopio has been to a lot of championships in the last few years, and once you do that, it becomes an expectation. And players know that teams change year to year. Coaches know that teams change year to year, but fans don't know that. They don't really understand what that means. So they just won't come out and win. It don't matter who we sign. Y'all just got to come out and win, and it don't work like that. And I think that'll be the biggest thing is for them to come in and understand that, hey, this is a new group of guys. It's a new coaching staff. Yes, we can have something to look forward to, but you really have to take it day by day, especially with seasons like this, because you can't go in there expecting good things to happen. You got to find out who your playmakers are. You got to find out, who has the motor. You got to find out who's the leader on defense, who's the leader on offense. Like, yeah, everybody's made plays and everybody's balled out until they played on the same team. You know what I mean? And then once you play on the same team now, I got to see it. I got to see it for myself now. If I'm a D lineman, I need to see what my safeties can do. I need to see what my corners can do. I need to see what these backers can do. Not like they have to prove themselves to you, but in the way it is. That's where the trust comes from. It's the ability to show people that you're going to be where you're supposed to be majority of the time. Not, I won't say all the time. If you can be there all the time, cool. But majority of the time, they know you're going to be where you need to be. And teams like that, where guys are holding each other accountable and people are where they're supposed to be, they more than likely got a chance to win a lot of games. And I think Kuopio, with the changes that they've made, I think they'll still be in position to be a good team. I won't say compared to their last teams or anything like that, because it's a new team. It's a new group of guys. But I do think, like I said, knowing Nesi and seeing the players that he brought in, I think they'll be really good. I think they'll be up there. And so that's the biggest thing, is just understanding that, hey, the old team, the old regime is out, and now it's the new guys' time. So let's get out of their footsteps and let's try to make our own.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm saying it's probably the same thing, just from a little bit different angle. Is for me, the biggest obstacle that I have to overcome is culture change. And when I say culture change, I mean similar to, again, we're kind of rehashing from different angles what we've already said, is what they did in the past as the Kuopio Steelers is not what they're going to be. So unlike, bringing in everybody new, there are people there who are accustomed to what the Steelers are. Like you said, even like the fans are accustomed to a certain, way of winning and having games go a certain way. But that's not what it's going to be this year. Again, touching on Nesi being the head coach, how he runs his team is not how the old coach ran the team. And we're not trying to throw any names out there, say anything about that. We're moving on. But how he runs the team is how they need to be run. And them accepting that is going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. One thing that we know about, living out here I'm going to say in Europe, where things are, life is better than what we're accustomed to in the States, is people get comfortable very fast and people start to take things for granted. There's a large amount of entitlement amongst young people all over the world, but it's a little bit higher in Europe because people are accustomed to getting things that they think that they deserve. And for the Steelers, it's no different. This team has been good for a very long time. So with that comes certain amount of perks. They're accustomed to, things being done a certain way, maybe being able to have certain luxuries that other teams don't have. And let's keep it 100. Nesi out the mud. Like Nesi knows what it's like to play grassroots football in Finland. So he doesn't need all the bells and whistles. He can make it work with whatever he got. What he needs is players that are going to follow him and do what he knows is going to help them be successful. And that's going to cause, in my opinion, it's going to cause some type of turmoil. There's going to be a turning point for the team where if it was up to me, Nesi would be like, you either in or you out. And we're going to find out who's in or out. I expect the roster to fluctuate throughout the season as they figure that out. And we know that here in Finland, domestic players will leave a team just because it's not going the way they want it to go. And I assume that Kuopio, with bringing in so many different personnel, that, I mean, everyone's from the same country, yes, but they're different type of people. Kuopio people versus everyone else in Finland is different. How is this going to mesh? It's going to be hard to make that mesh. They're going to have to spend a lot of time, a lot of extra nights hanging out, getting to know each other, figuring out if we're on the same page, and adjusting to the culture of this new team. And I think that's going to be a very large obstacle. And when shit hits the fan in the season, we're going to see how well they adjust to the culture. When things go bad for them and they have adversity, we're going to find out if the team can come together or they start pointing fingers, or somebody starts saying that, we got to get rid of this guy, or this guy needs to go, something like that. So I think one huge obstacle for them is adjusting to the new culture of the team. All right, I'm here with Josh Taylor, quarterback of the Kuopio Steelers. Josh, welcome to the AFF.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, we're going to jump right into it. First, what made you decide to come and play for the Kuopio Steelers this season?
Honestly, it was a handful of things. I had a really good college career, and so I was getting recruited by a few teams over here in Europe and then a couple teams in the States. And honestly, the big thing was talking to Nesi and just how personable he was. I'm huge on relationships, and it's a valuable part of my life, just how I was raised. And Nesi made it out to be like he made it almost feel like a family. He talked about football and all like the good and wanting to win a championship and all that kind of stuff. But then he also talked about wanting to make our experience outside of football the best it possibly could. And him and Coach Tammy and Yanni, the GM, they all were in constant communication with me, and then also bringing Austin Brock, one of my receivers, here and back from my college. That was huge as well. because, like I said, relationship is very important to me, and just that familiarity that's there is also very important. So those all played a big role.
Okay. So going into this season, the Steelers did not have a typical Kuopio Steelers season last year. And of course, they made a lot of changes, personnel as well as the head coach. You guys have been practicing in all season, kind of getting to know each other. What kind of things can we expect from you and the Steelers team going into this Maple Leaf?
I would say grit. I'm not the typical quarterback. Like a lot of quarterbacks have to throw one completion to get into the game. I'm the type of quarterback I gotta pop somebody real quick. Running's also a big part of my game. I'm a dual threat quarterback, and I'm also very intense. I have a lot of passion for the game, and I think the passion shows off field and on the field. I love winning, but I also hate losing more than anything. I know that's cliche, but it's the truth. And the big thing that Nesi has stressed, and then what Austin or AB and I have brought to the Steelers in practice is compete. Everything we want to do, we want to compete at a high level. And I've always been told how you do one thing is how you do everything. So our mindset is we want to operate at an elite level, no matter if it's watching film in the weight room and practice, even picking trash up after practice. So everything we want to do is at an elite level. And that's the standard that Nesi and all the coaches have held. And that's just what our expectation coming in was as well, too.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Kuopio Steelers personnel. A lot of youngsters kind of, I guess, raising up their level this year. A lot of guys who are on the team, but maybe weren't given opportunity in the previous seasons. What are some of the players that you're expecting to show up big for you outside of you and AB?
Yeah, I think our O-line has been absolutely incredible. We have Basil and Iki, two of our guards, in my opinion, and from what I've heard in the film I've watched, they're two of the best offensive guards in all of Finland. And then also Odo, our center, who played for the Gators last year. He's the best center in all of Finland. So I think we go where the O-line goes, and I think those are some solid dudes to be behind, and they're really going to carry us and carry the torch. And we've also had a lot of receivers kind of step up. Obviously, I didn't really know anybody coming in, and just from what I've seen in practice, all of the receivers are extremely coachable. I really like Noah. I don't know his last name, but I like Noah. He's a slot receiver. I like the tight end EP, and then really just across the board, we have a lot of young guys who are really, really showing that same passion that I have for the game. They're wanting to be coached, and when we give them pointers or like Coach Nesi coaches, they're taking what they're being coached and they're applying it to their game. You don't really have to tell them multiple times. Like our big thing is just finding space and winning space and the passing game and the offense. We want to get the one-on-ones, and our mindset is one-on-ones equal one-on-nones. And they're listening to us, and then kind of we're feeding off of each other. They're watching film on their own so they can add more stuff into their bag. So right now it's really early still. We've been here for about a month. It's really early, so it's kind of hard to tell who's going to really be those difference makers. But I love the passion, and I love just the energy that everybody's going about getting work done and being the best they can be.
Tell me this, Josh, because while you're talking, I remember you're in Kuopio. How do you like Kuopio so far? I know when we're recording this, it's still a little wet, so you guys get the actual Finland, fake winter. So how do you like Kuopio so far? Tell us about it.
Shoosh. I honestly, I love it. It's kind of weird being away from my family this long, but in terms of being in Finland, I love it. I love the people. I've found that a lot of people in Finland, or at least Kuopio, they kind of mind their own business. And in America, we just like talking to people. So like AB and I will just be at a bus stop and we'll just start random conversations. Like I met a dude from Norway, which was awesome. We sat there and talked at a bus stop for 30 minutes.
Hold on. You go to the bus stop and you away from people? You actually stand next to people? It's not Finland at all.
Oh, I make them talk.
But have you seen the people social distancing at all times?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I was sitting at the bus stop by myself, and there's 3 open seats next to me, and this person kind of walked up and he was kind of giving me a side eye, and he stayed at least 5 feet apart from me. I kind of looked at him. I was like, all right, I respect it. But yeah, no, I love the people in Finland. Once you kind of break their shell, they're almost like once you just break their shell, they're super soft on the inside. They love communicating. They love like just kind of getting like our point of view from being from America and how we like it here. And then all of them are super helpful in terms of like giving us suggestions on where to eat and just different things to experience. And that's my favorite part so far.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I've told Austin, and I say on the podcast all the time, just so you have it in your mind. I'm not going out to Kuopio out there, but I'm glad that you like it. I've heard people have. There's been plenty of imports who've come to Kuopio. They enjoy it. They had a good time. Personally, I've been to Kuopio twice. I'm not ever going back. But like I told AB, if you guys are playing in like Helsinki or something, you might see me come out and watch from the stands or something out there. But Kuopio, man, it takes the right type of people to live out there year round, and at least you guys get to see both sides of the Finland. Like a lot of summer side, it's a little different, and you'll see in a couple of months when the sun's out for almost 24 hours. Kuopio is a beautiful place. It's a great time. For me personally, I'm not coming all the way out there, Josh. It's not gonna happen.
Hey, I heard
But I
third
wish.
time's a charm. I heard third time's a charm. Might as well make one more trip.
I will. You know what? If you can talk me into it, maybe I will. But last question. Now I'm gonna let you get out of here, Josh. Going into the season, this league. I don't know if anybody's told you, but this is one of the most open years there's gonna be. There's a lot of changes. Won the league last year isn't. They don't have it in the bag to repeat, as well as everybody underneath them. We don't know who's going to win. So it's a very competitive season for the Maple League. Could be good or bad depending on what your thoughts of that is. Personally, going into this season with a new team, first year in Finland, what are you excited about from this season in the Maple League?
I'm honestly just excited to be able to just keep competing. Because obviously a lot of people's careers stop at least America, stop at high school. And then if you're fortunate enough to go to college, it stops in college. So we have an opportunity, and we're blessed with the opportunity to keep competing. And honestly, it makes me absolutely excited that the league is this open. Because to me, it just breeds more competition. Because when there's a set like high and low and middle bar, like there's almost a standard, and teams will almost quit before it even starts. So to me, that's just going to raise the level of the competition around the board, around the whole entire league, and that just makes me excited because, like, I want everybody's best when we play because they're going to get our best. And as of right now, especially just getting here, it's easy. Like, oh my gosh, I want these games to come. But right now, our focus is just taking it one day at a time and getting 1% better at a time, like 1% better each day. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they bring onto the field. It's about what we bring onto the field, and we can control what we can control. And that we're planning on that being a lot of touchdowns, a lot of points, and hopefully we fill up the W column a lot.
All right. Well, that's perfect, Josh. Thanks for coming on the pod. We appreciate you doing this interview and the Steelers heading into the 2024 season, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me.
Hey there, fans of American football in Finland. Want to show some love and support to your favorite podcast? For just €3, you can buy us a cup of coffee and help keep our podcast running strong. But why stop at one cup? Why not support each host with a cup? Visit buymeacoffee.com and show your support today. Cheers to keeping the conversation going.
All right, let's talk about keys to success for the Kuopio Steelers. What do you think they have to do to be successful?
I think first of all, come out, show us your identity, show us what you want us to see. It's almost like that first interview, your first game says a lot. You come out, we get to see your quarterback, we get to see the receivers you brought in, the defensive guys you brought in. Like you say, we get to see what you guys been working on in the off season.
I can tell you what they're gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let's just put it out there. It's a Nesi team. They're gonna score points. They're gonna put the ball in the air. They're gonna score points.
You can pretty much already if you've been, watching and keeping up with Finland football, you can pretty much already know what to expect from Nesi. It's going to be a lot of quick game. Like I said, some balanced run in there, counter, zone, stuff like that, and he's going to make you, he's going to trust his players before he gives you respect. I'll tell you that right now. Nesi's going to rather throw the ball deep to his guys rather than to give some DB respect. So, and he's played with every possible American you can play with. So he's not one of these coaches that's like going to go out there and be like, hey, that's so-and-so a real good corner. Like, he don't care about that, like, at all. He's just going to try you. Now, if you pick him off, you pick him off. But Nesi ain't no sucker. He ain't none of that. He gonna try you. He gonna throw the ball. He gonna, and he'll even pad up if he got to. Like, he just built like that. So I think when you got coaches like that, it shows on teams. It shows when they communicate to their team, like, their passion for the game. And I think Kuopio has to come out this first game and show that passion. They have to show, like, who we're gonna be this year. Yes, we don't have Reason Over. Yes, we don't have certain people's names that you're used to hearing, but we're still Kuopio Steelers. We're still in the mix, and we're here to show you who we are now. And that's all I want to see from them. So I think the biggest thing is to win early. If Kuopio can come out and win some games early, they'll get that confidence. It'll put a lot of pressure on other teams that are struggling, trying to figure out if their people are going to mesh together. If they come out and say, hey, we've been practicing together for over a month or so, we should see a difference. You know what I mean? If your quarterback's been there, your receiver's been there in the offseason for a month and a half, the first game, we should see that. So I think the main thing is for them to go out, be consistent, put points on the board, make the games exciting for the fans, just draw people in with the success. Yes, it's not going to be perfect because it's the first game, but give the people something to look forward to, give the league something to say, hey, these guys are still good, or vice versa. You know what I mean? If you don't come out, then just fight and show what you made of. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get tested, whether it's by losses or whether it's by close games. You lose 2 games in a row at the beginning of the season. Is the organization gonna panic? You know what I mean? Are they gonna say, well, maybe we need to change this and switch this? Like, what's your goal? You know what I mean? Like, what's your realistic goal? And if your realistic goal is to go to the playoffs and beyond, then that means from the first game on, we expecting nothing but dominance and consistency. Because otherwise, teams that don't do that, they don't get to those games. So I think Kuopio just needs to come out and be who they're gonna be, and only them and only they know who that is. We don't, as of this moment, don't know how good they're gonna be. We just know they're gonna be there. They're gonna show up, and other than that, that's all I can ask for.
I'm going to go another route and say that for them to be successful, they have to play defense. I know it's crazy because, you could – obviously, I said it before, they're going to score points. But this Big 12 football out here, baby, we say it all the time. This Maple League, everybody score points. Everybody can score points. Like, that's not a hard thing to do. But playing defense is going to differentiate them from being just another team in the Maple League and being a legit contender. And I know we don't want to talk about too much about last year's team because this is a different team, but last year's team had horrible defense. Like, we said it plenty of times, like, they could not really stop anybody when they needed to. And then when they were able to stop people, they couldn't score. So, like, they had moments. They had different spots in their defense. In my opinion, their defense was really middle of the road, but it could be good, but they were on the field so much that eventually they always would give up points. This team isn't the same defense as last year. They've changed a lot. I think the only person from last year's starting defense that's going to be on the team this year is the safety, Lars Steffen. Their best DB is now playing for the Roosters, I think. I think Ron Elane signed with the Roosters. And they've elevated a lot of young DBs. And I'm trying to as an obstacle, but to be successful, those guys are going to have to step up. That defense is going to have to step up, and especially in that back end, because if they do as we expect and they score points, that means one thing, they're not going to spend all day scoring the points. Like Nesi ain't going to be on the field all day on offense. They getting in, putting it on in the end zone, then getting out, which means your defense is going to be on the field. And if your defense is on the field and your team is scoring, the other team is trying to score, which means you will get tried. And that secondary will get tried. Last year, they had just the right amount of personnel that they were able to win enough of those trials. And then they had a really good linebacker who could create pressure and cover in Achilles Leroy. I'm not sure about the linebacker situation going into this season, but I don't really care. I think that it's going to be more on that secondary group. And I've been told that they're expecting their young guys to step up. So we're really going to see how good those young guys are. And for them to be successful, their defensive backfield is going to have to be really good against a lot of pressure and a lot of attempts. It's one of those things where you can, as a DB, if you win 6 out of 10, you can still give up 4 touchdowns. And that's what their DB is going to be looking at pretty much all season. Is it doesn't matter what the score is, they're going to try you because that's the only way they can get in the game is to score points. That's the only way they're going to be able to compete with you. So if that defense is ready, hey, we might be looking at another dynasty.
Yeah.
But if they're not ready, whoo, boy, it's going to be a long season. A whole lot of 38 to 35 games, a whole lot of 42 to 37, a whole lot of those, what do we call them, barn burners?
Bunsen burner.
I expect them to put up a couple 50 burgers easy because I think that they have the personnel to do it offensively. But again, for me, their key to success, to be a team that's not just a team, to be a playoff team and a contender, they have to play good defense. And with a brand new defense, basically, I'm not 100% convinced that they can do that, but I'm excited to see them try.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm here with Austin Brock for the Kuopio Steelers. Austin, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
We're going to jump right into the interview. First question I'm going to ask you is, you're playing for the Steelers this year. What's your purpose for coming out here and playing for the Steelers? Tell us a little bit about what goals you're trying to accomplish out here.
Well, it was always my goal to play professional football since I was a kid. So that was a goal I've always wanted to reach. And then, to be honest with you, I'm trying to be the best receiver to ever play in the Maple League. Just ball out as much as I can, especially be the best receiver to play for the Steelers as well. It's a big goal, but with the work I put in till this time, I feel like it's definitely a goal that I can accomplish. So definitely hold myself to the highest standard, and that's the highest standard it can be. So.
Well, I just want to let you know, those are some pretty damn high standards in the Maple League of all places. We have had a lot of talented receivers and imports in general come through the Maple League. So if you live up to what you want to do, people will know your name by the end of the season for sure all over Europe. So that's the goal.
That's the plan.
I think you're well on your way. All right.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Perfect then. But into the season, you're already in Kuopio. You've been practicing with the team. Tell us a little bit about what do you think we can expect from your team's offense receiver with your college quarterback. What can we expect from the type of offense you guys plan to have going into this Maple League season?
We're going to be scoring a lot of points. I can tell you that much. We're going to be a explosive offense that runs and passes the ball. We're just trying to score as a lot of points as we can, and not have the defense on the field as much. You know what I'm saying? So explosive plays and just trying to score a lot of points, the most that the Steelers have ever had. That's another goal that we're trying to have. Average the most points a game that the Steelers have ever averaged. So. And I feel like Nesi is going to do a good job in allowing us to do that as well, because he has been really open into letting Josh and I, bring concepts that were successful in our college career over here as well, and he's just open to it all and listens to us and just wants to work together to build an explosive offense. So
let me ask you one thing about this explosive. Is that going to be based on no huddle, fast tempo, or just when we line up, we're going to attack you so hard that we make the
well, it is going to be different because in college, Josh and I ran a no huddle, but in practice we have been huddling. But we are getting more into like the using hand signals to line up, and stuff like that. And so he's given Josh a wristband recently, so we're just he's calling a number on the play, he's reading the wristband to us. But hopefully we can get to the point where we build some plays where we can just no huddle, because the goal is to catch the defense off guard and try to attack them as long as we can, not trying to get them to line up to our scheme and formations and things like that. So just building up to that as well, because I think in Nesi's career he's always huddled, so it's kind of a new concept to him and stuff like that. But like I said, he's very open to it, and he's trying to just let us be the players that we want to be, and that is being explosive. So
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about you. You're around a lot of new guys, a lot of Finnish guys at that. Who are some of the players on the offensive side to you that you're expecting to contribute as well as much as you and Josh,
Definitely Isaac. I think he's going to be our starting running back, and he has a lot of experience over here in the Maple League. He's played for the Butchers before and stuff like that. So I feel like he's going to be a high IQ guy that knows what he's talking about. And a receiver, Noah. I don't want to get his last name wrong, so I'm not saying last names. I just know the first names. But Noah is also going to be a very explosive wide receiver for us that's going to make some plays. And, hopefully, because I've heard over here they like to bracket the import receiver. So hopefully he can make some plays and take some attention off and stuff like that. And I think our tight end, EP, he's definitely going to make some plays as well. I've heard a lot of good things about him. And our O-line is very big. We have Basil, who, has had a lot of experience in the ELF and the highest leagues over here as well. And we're also bringing in an import lineman as well. So I just feel like we're going to have a really stable and, offense that can run RPOs, run the ball, throw the ball downfield, and also run quick game as well. So we're going to have it all in the bag, I believe.
That's awesome. I'm going to get you out of here. I told you I'm very quick with these interviews. What are you most excited about this season playing in the Maple League? Like, what about playing in this league in 2024?
I feel like I'm just excited for the experience, just to see the level of competition as well, because I just find myself as a really good receiver. So, and like you said, I have really high goals for myself. So I'm just trying to kind of make a name for myself, get my name on the map and get noticed as well, just by because my goal is to, go to the highest level, which is, ELF over here, or also the UFL, or even the NFL. So, just trying to make a name for myself and trying to be the best, like I said, the best receiver in the Maple League, especially this year. So.
Well, good luck to you, Austin. You had a great season. It's been great talking to you. I appreciate you coming on the pod, man. And I can already tell from your energy that we're going to see a lot of you this season. So I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Helsinki, right? You'll be there for a game?
Yeah, I'll make one for you. I'll leave my house and actually go to a game.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
That's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Q, any last words about the Steelers before we get out of here?
Hey man, whatever y'all need to do. This ain't no hate on nobody, but I don't know why y'all ain't signed Achilles Leroy back. 'Cause,
I think it was out with the old, in with the new.
We got to run him back, man. Hey, we got to run him back. And there ain't no knock on nobody they just signed it, but can you get better than that? But no, other than that, man, it was a pleasure talking about Kuopio, man. Like I said, we got a history of talking about them anyway. So good luck to them. Either way, good luck to them.
I'm excited to see the new Steelers in this new era. See them go in kind of I wouldn't say a different direction, but a new direction. Like I've said before, I really am interested to see how things work out there in Kuopio, because like I've said this plenty of times before, I'm not going out to Kuopio because ain't nothing out there. But I've always thought highly of the organization, and I think that last year was more of a fluke than anything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the team that we're going to see this year, but it's super interesting to see how this team will attack the season with so many changing parts, so many new and different things from what they've done before. I don't know if they've changed the jersey. That'd be kind of cool if they went a different route with the jersey. But again, as I said previously in the episode before about the Royals, the Steelers have a very, I equate them with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like they know what their jerseys look like and they like it and they stick with it. And I love it. And they worry about other things. The black, white, and red, that's pretty iconic. I like it. The new logos they had from a couple years ago is pretty good too. So I do wish the Steelers the best of luck this season. We'll be watching here every week on the AFF podcast, and you can subscribe, like, follow on all our social media channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget
T
I
F.
We gone.
Out of here.